Welcome to GrayPrimer, a show that's mostly about miniatures. My name is Nick, I'm your host, and in this episode I'm continuing my Orktober special, where I build dioramas that explore the question, what do orcs get up to when they're in peacetime? Last time in the show I looked at the Formula Orc Racing Championship for the Beast Dinogas. I'll put a link into the show notes below so you can have a look, but that was a lot of fun. This time, however, I'm going over to the petrol station, the gas station, the fuel station, filling station, what else are they called? Doesn't matter. Whatever they're called in your neck of the woods, in Orkville they're called a G4. G4 means gas, grub, gear, and grog. Let's have a look. But before I get on my overalls and get greasy with the greenskins, I want to share the top 10 hobby products I found on the internet. All 10 things might not be absolutely new, but they're certainly new to me, so let's get cracking. Number 10, I've got AK Interactive's Jose Da Vinci signature set. This painter personally curated these 18 colors, and I think it's a great place to start for any painter. At number 9 is WAAAGH Workshop's District 9 board game. This was a successful Kickstarter from the end of 2019. I think it is just shipped, but retail release is end of the year. At number 8 is Mantic Dead Zone's Artificer Juggernaut. This is launching on November 22nd, but is available for pre-order now. Reaper Miniatures bring us the Sugar Skull and Plinth at number 7, and this also has a painting contest. Reaper run painting contests throughout the year, and you can win store credit. At number 6 is Green Stuff World's Silicon Painting Mat. This has just been released. It comes in 2 sizes. It's multi-purpose, it's easy to clean, and you can even put it in the dishwasher. At number 5, we have McFarlane Toys Space Marine Reaver. This is the artist proof. This is my favorite from the next wave of McFarlane action figures for Warhammer 40,000, which also includes some orcs and tyranids. At number 4, we have Raging Heroes Cardinal Blasphemious of the Tainted Blood, another stunning sculpt from the French masters of miniature design, Raging Heroes. And while the name is, well, just a little heretical, this would look really cool alongside Mephiston of the Blood Angels. At number 3 is Wargame Exclusives Greater Good Cyberbike, a phenomenal proxy model for Tau, and the motorbike has got some really nice Akira touches going too. Runner-up this week is RTLW's Da Boys Orc Band, and I just love this. Every weapon is an instrument, and every instrument was designed to slay. Flamaha keyboards and chainsword guitars are the name of the game here. Absolutely awesome stuff. And this episode's number 1 is Cyborg Monstrous Miniatures Motorized Knight, and it's well deserving of the number 1 slot. It blends elements of LEGO Space, Knights, and City to create this undead horror show. Cyborg's full range of miniatures, it's full of wonders like this, and well worth checking out. And now it's time for the Orktober featured content. I initially called this a G4, but I think I left something out. So welcome to the G5 service station Orktown, where you can get gas, guns, grub, grog, and gubbins. Let's have a look. At the heart of this conversion are 3 kits from TT Combat's fantastic MDF range of scenery, the Orc Mek Garage, the Orc Grub and Grog, and the Dinogas Filling Station Deluxe. Now, I did previously do a video on the filling station, so I'll put a link to that in the show notes below. You can see it up in the top here, but what I need to do is to find out how this is all going to be laid out. It's a lot of MDF, a lot of large kits, and you can see the size of this thing. It's taking up a lot of space. I want to have orcs riding past it, but I want to fit this grub and grog in somewhere. And I've also got the big Mek Garage, large components of that, probably down here. I'm not really tied to any part of this. I'm happy to hack and slash the whole thing. The Orc Grub and Grog costs next to nothing, but it's such a cool little set. You get this little snack shack, you get the little tower with the tap on it for what we're assuming is beer, and yeah, you can see how these MDF sheets are laser cut. They're all numbered as well, 1 of 3 or whatever, and this is a much shallower MDF, and they get a lot of little details onto that stuff. I've never been in love with the smell of laser cut MDF, but it doesn't last forever. It does die down after you've opened the pack. And I decided to just make a little reservoir of PVA glue here to stick this together. I have used super glue in the past, but I found the connection to be sometimes brittle, sometimes the wood absorbs the glue. but PVA seems to have a much longer lasting life, even though it takes a little bit longer to dry. I've completed the bits here, but you can see underneath on my cutting mat here all of the accessories, and I'm going to put those just to one side because I'll probably use them later on. Easy to put together, really little hassle, and I think they look fantastic. The Orc Mek Garage is a much larger kit, but I'm not going to build it just as it is on the pack here. I'm going to use components of it in different places. I'm going to just make sure that as I build this, that I'm not gluing lots of it together. I've got a whole bunch of sprues of bits and pieces and different sort of scenery components. These are all leftover pieces from the garage and from the Grub and Grog. And I'll leave this lot off to one side so that I can use it for inspiration as I build. So now I'm starting to get the different components together. And this is why I didn't glue anything initially. I wanted to be able to move stuff around, see what it looked like stacked or off to the side or whatever. And I know that I want to do something special with the front of this little cabin. And what I'm going to use is a lot of little bits and pieces of MDF to just block off these windows and create actually like a gallery for all of this DACA. Guns that have been collected from all over the galaxy are going to be displayed in this wall for sale in my little Guns and Gubbins shop. And here it is all primed up, and I'm really happy with how it's come together. Now, a lot of these larger components, like I say, I haven't glued those. They're resting, just holding each other up. But I got a donkey in here. I thought it'd be cool to have a chained up donkey somewhere, but I ended up not using it. Got the gas pumps, got the big signage that'll go up on the roof here as well. And here it is, that rare moment where GrayPrimer is doing something other than gray priming. And I've actually got some colors here. Look how confused I am. Look at how I'm trying to find colors that are close to gray. Not really. But yeah, it is great to be back painting again. It's great to paint on something like scenery because I don't have to be so precise. I can just make mistakes, and it's orc scenery as well, so it doesn't matter if it's totally wrecked looking. But I think it's a good way to get yourself back into the habit of painting, is starting on something like this. I've got everything sort of with this woody, dirty color, but I want to really grub it up. So I'm going to use Typhus Corrosion, and sometimes I'll squirt in a little bit of like a brown color here, just to bring it a little bit closer to the wood washing and scrubbing that I've been giving it up to this point. A little bit of a flow improver there as well, because Typhus Corrosion can be a little bit chonky. As you can see, I am completely destroying a Citadel brush here. Typhus Corrosion is one of my favorite paints in the Citadel range. I think it's just phenomenal. I'm just going to mash it on here real nasty and then just use a rag to blend it up into the wood. Buildings will generally be dirtier down near the bottom, around the edges, but this stuff is just so much fun. And you can see you don't have to be precise. It doesn't matter. You're going to blend it all away anyway. And while it's still wet, it's giving you a lot of scope for play here. It's really messy, by the way, but a lot of fun. And now I want to just put together something of a color palette to lift it out of these earth tones that I've been using up to now. I want to introduce some more vibrant colors into this, just something that makes it feel a little bit more orky and tribal. And I'm just doing a quick sketch here of what the signpost looks like at the top of the building to see how the colors play against each other. And this is just something I do to see if this is going to work. And this gives me a reference point for the next steps. I can just glance back and see what works, what doesn't, or if I need to go hunting in my paint box for sort of alternatives, something like that. I go back to the main wood wash again here. I'll probably grub that up with some sepia and earth shade as well. And then for Guns and Gubbins, I've got most of them down with like bolt gun metal colors, like that kind of dirty steel. And now I'm picking out some details just to lift a little bit from that murk of earth colors and dirty metal. And you can see it here. You can also see up above in Grub and Grog that they're slightly more vibrantly colored, but not so much that they are like jarring on the eye. You can even see like ultramarine stuff there stuck to that wall. Don't know where they got that stuff from. There's a little bit of vomit on the floor there, and for the keen-eyed amongst you, you'll see that it even had its own little carrots. But yeah, I'm loving the Grub and Grog. I want to just pick out the details of the actual text on the sign each here, so I'm just using a pigment pen. I want to pause to share a technique about how I use washes. Spilling Nuln Oil has become a bit of a meme, but and it's still possible with a dropper bottle, although you have to be kind of violent with it to get it to come out. But yeah, listen, even this is just, it's unacceptable. So let's come up with a better solution. And a while back, I discovered these cool little pans with a reservoir. They're art pans. They got like a soft vinyl brush on the top of them. I think they're made by a company called Arteza. And that's what I load my washes into. You can see that when you flick it onto the surface there's no spillage. You gotta really shake that out to get anything to come out of it accidentally. But it is really cool to use. It flows really well. They got different types of bristles on them as well. That Nuln Oil one was a very flat wide head. But like in the range, you've also got ones that have a much finer tip to them. And they just pull from that reservoir in behind like a fountain pen, but with a brush top. And it's just literally a case of pouring in your shade and screw the lid back on. You pump it to feed the ink through to the tip. And as you can see, I've marked these Agrax, Sepia, and Nuln. I've got one of my plastic baseboards all primed up here. I got my tools ready. I'm going to get some of this amazing Vallejo earth texture acrylic black lava asphalt, and I'm going to give that a slight lighter color with some of the astrogranite and astrogranite debris from Citadel. This stuff is so much fun to play with. But it will get on everything you love if you're not careful, so make sure you have newspaper down, kids and pets out of the way. You do not want a cat running through this while it's still wet and running off across your house. Here I am just dabbing it down with a cosmetic sponge. I'm going to add in some of this astrogranite and then blend the whole lot together. I do like the astrogranite debris. It's got nice chunky bits in it, but you do go through a lot of it. And here it is. Let's take it from the signpost all the way down. We've got a watchtower there. We've got stop and fill your gob. Some vending machines. We've got some promotional posters for events that are coming up in Orktown. Got this really great crocodile looking thing. We got guns and gubbins there if you want to go shopping. You've got your gas station bit with your pumps. In beside the guns and gubbins, there's even Blood Bowl merchandise. And if you want gastrointestinal grotesqueness, you go to the Grub and Grog up here at the G5. And here it is in all of its glory. I love this thing, but it is huge. Somehow I managed to get this onto the spinning platform, but the noises that it was making, be grateful you can't hear it because it is the sound of it dying. It stopped working about 10 seconds after this, and well, it went out in a grinding blaze of glory. And I'm so happy with how this building has turned out, and the fact that it remains modular. I can still take most of this apart, which is very, very cool. You want your Blood Bowl scarves and jerseys and t-shirts? Here they are. And then we've got guns and gubbins for all your wonderful salvage weaponry. And if you happen to live in Orktown or in the surrounding neighborhoods, here are some community notices for you. Orkfest looks pretty good. Arcane Tyrant, Deathclock supporting Bolt Thrower. And over there you've got GrayPrimer, whoever that is, hosting a hobby hangout at GaleCon 21. What? Oh, we've even got a notice to support your local Blood Bowl team. If your Blood Bowl team happens to feature goblins and orcs, squig kittens for sale, super cute and delicious. And one last look at it in all of its dirty glory. And on the next episode of GrayPrimer, it is another in this series of orc dioramas as the orcs take to the high seas and do battle with a toothy beast from the deep. If you subscribe and ding the notifications bell, you'll receive word of when that video lands and others like it. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please like and share. And now I've got to go and work out where to put this magnificent chunk of scenery. Maybe beside the gigantic pirate ship I made for the orcs earlier in the year. But hey, until the next time, you take care and bye-bye.